Good evening. I'd like to speak to you tonight about cyclists on the road. Are they a boon or a bane? The self-righteous nature of cyclists is particularly repugnant whenever you consider the amount of ecological damage that they actually do. Their principle is that because they don't consume fossil fuels of any type, that they are ecologically sound. But if you take the amount of CO2 that is produced during the manufacture of one of their bikes, you'll find out that it's actually quite substantial. Most of them seem to have specific bike frames, specific bike wheels, the tires, the saddles, the handles, all seem to be very sort of specialist makes. I do notice though that in dereliction of the law, most of them don't have a light, most of them don't have a bell, and to be perfectly honest, most of them don't even have a good rider. Next, the effect on traffic by a cyclist. Cyclists tend to think that they are the be-all and end-all of the universe, and that the fact that they're cycling along with the sweat and the snot blinding them, that because they're not burning fossil fuel themselves personally, that they're suddenly the epitome of the eco-warrior. But what they don't tend to take into account is the effect that they have on the traffic around them. Regularly, and I mean like most evenings, coming up out of town, specifically in the area between Forest Side on the Saintfield Road and up as far as Carryduff, there are several cyclists who come up that road, and each one of them has dozens upon dozens of cars, lorries and buses stuck behind them, all travelling at the same speed of this struggling middle-aged cyclist. If you have in total 400 cars and say half a dozen lorries and buses, all travelling along at an average of say 8 miles an hour in second or third gear, that's not really very environmentally sound. If you have them travelling for say 5 miles, all behind this set of cyclists, you can't say that that is an ecologically sound activity. In addition, as an example, in Saintfield last week, I saw 4 cyclists coming down the Crossgar Road, down past Rowallan Gardens. I stood and I watched these 4 cyclists. Now they had come past, or come out the Crossgar Road, which is a narrow single carriageway road, very little overtaking room. So these 4 cyclists, refusing to give up the traffic or giving road space or an overtaking opportunity to the traffic behind them, had, as it passed me, one large 40-footer Tesco delivery lorry and 17 cars, all travelling at the speed of the slowest cyclist. Again, all in second or third gear, and all of them producing much more exhaust than they would do under normal circumstances. So you can't tell me that the four cyclists were out for a zero emissions activity, because the impact that they had on the area around them was easily the same amount as a teenage car drifter taking his souped up Nissan Skyline out for a quick burn around the track and a couple of donuts. Another issue that is coming up in the very near future, there's another one of these pain in the ass cyclist races coming to County Down. This is going to clog up the entire county for a whole weekend, and there's no particular reason for it, because the cyclist clubs, they all sort of say, oh, but look at all of the business that this is bringing to the local area. Here's a problem. You have a reduction in footfall to the local restaurants because people can't get out and can't get around. They don't have the traffic-free mobility that they would do under normal circumstances, and restaurants lose custom. I actually work now with a lady who her family has run a restaurant in the past, and my understanding is that this sort of activity would have a sort of a bad effect on the traffic that would come past that sort of establishment, a roadside restaurant, because the road is blocked to allow 300 cyclists to wander past. They're going to take 4 hours, so it's 4 hours out of probably the optimal day for the local restaurants, because the family goes out for Sunday dinner. Well, the family's not going out for Sunday dinner because they can't get down that road, because there's 400 big hairy-legged cyclists grunting up and down the road, sweating rings all around the place and stopping traffic. I'd like to see exactly the sums that these cycling clubs say, oh, it's very, very good for the local economy. How come it can be good for the local economy when we have this reduction in traffic? How can it be good for the local economy whenever you have local companies who decide to shut down on that weekend because they can't make deliveries? Guys can't get in and out of work on the Sunday to do emergency work. That sort of thing can't happen, that's never measured. And another thing that happens is, to block off the roads, what do they need? 150, 200 PSNI policemen or policewomen? At £40 an hour, how much does that cost? You have all day blocked off. You have this road blocked off all day long, and it's just, the effect is abysmal and the costs are abysmal, and there is absolutely no integrity with the local cycling clubs saying, oh, it's brilliant for the local economy. No, it isn't. No, it isn't. It's a little ego trip for the cycling clubs. They go, oh, we have an international guy with yellow shirt and latex cycling shorts. Not good for you. I would say that if you take the current crop of cyclists and you say, do you actually have insurance? I would bet serious money that 99.99% of them will admit that they don't have insurance that will cover any damage that they as a cyclist would cause. I would bet even further that 100% of the people, if you actually force them into keeping insurance the way that you're forced with a car, and I don't object to being insured with a car, but if you had insurance on a bicycle, I would but bet serious money that if there was any sort of accident, these people would just keep on cycling on. Here's a hypothetical situation. You have saved up a significant amount of money. You have gone out and you have bought a brand new car to get you to your work. Your work requires you to be able to get around. It requires you to be in a decent car. Salesman, sales rep, whatever. So you go out and you buy a brand new Mini or a Focus or a BMW or a Golf or whatever. And it doesn't even have to be brand new, it just has to be new to you. And you take care of it and you wash it and you dry it and you clean it and you wax it. And you're sitting at the traffic lights and some gimp with a bicycle decides to try and squeeze up between all the cars and scratches the door or the wing of your car, and it's not insured, and he goes on, and you can't even claim off the bugger because he's totally and utterly, he has absolutely no character, no integrity, no soul, and there's no redemption for an individual like that. So who do you call? No, it's not Ghostbusters. Alright, we'll leave it at that. Please, if you have any comments, please get back to me. Make a comment below. If you agree, if you disagree, call me a liar, call me a fool. Get back in touch. If you have any suggestions for any other discussions, please let me know. And click subscribe below, and click on the little bell for notification that I have posted again, and we'll have further discussions. You may not agree with what I say, but you'll always get a good discussion. Good night and take care.